Welcome to the channel Darkness in the Night. Tonight, I would like to tell you a story that happened in a small town in Quang Nam province. In a place that seems peaceful, there are ghosts from the past finding their way back. The story begins. The small town sits beside the Hoai River. By day it bustles with buyers and sellers. But when night falls, the main street grows quiet. On both sides of that road stand two theaters facing each other, one brightly lit, packed with people coming and going like a festival. The other dim with just a few oil lamps flickering, hardly anyone daring to go near. The brightly lit theater belongs to Min and Lan. People praise them for their hard work and for staging fresh, popular plays, so audiences flock in like it's a fair. Across the street is Mr. Tuan and Mrs. Mai's theater, once famous for classical opera and cheo performances, but now cold and silent. The seats covered in dust, with only a few old men occasionally seen nodding and yawning. A drink stall woman sitting by the alley glanced across and clicked her tongue. Back when Mr. Tuan's theater was the talk of the town, look at it now. It's pitiful. The man with her leaned toward the woman and whispered, "Yeah, but I heard Mrs. Mai hasn't been herself lately. At night she slips out of the house." The vendor shivered. "Where does she go so late? Her eyes are always bloodshot, it's creepy." Inside the empty theater, Mrs. Mai sat motionless before the darkened stage, her eyes fixed on the light spilling from across the street. The lively music and laughter from Min and Lan's theater made her face twist and harden. She muttered to herself, "Just wait, you'll cry soon enough. No one will steal anything from me." Laughter from Min and Lan's theater drifted across like a taunt. Wind sighed through the rotting window frames, and the old velvet curtain fluttered as if a shadow had passed. That night Mrs. Mai trudged up the mountain road. Her figure was small and trembling under the pale moonlight. Dogs howled in the village and insects twittered. Ahead stood a foul little wooden hut precariously perched on the hillside. People whispered that this was where Lao Hak lived, a notorious sorcerer known for dealing with demons and using any means to profit. The hut's door was ajar, a dim red light leaking out. The smell of blood hit the nose. A hoarse voice came from the darkness. "I knew you would come. Who do you want to harm?" Mrs. Mai trembled, but hatred flashed in her eyes. "Min's theater, I want it to collapse. I want them ruined." A rasping laugh escaped from inside. "All right, but remember, what I give you is blood and vengeance. Once called, it is not easily put out. Can you endure it?" Mrs. Mai clenched her hands, nails digging into skin. "I can. I want them gone." In the dark shack, Lao Hak lifted a black earthenware bowl, thick with blood and cremation ash. He dipped his thin, knobby finger into the mixture, traced crooked lines across a yellow talisman, muttering strange incantations under his breath. The chant slithered like a snake, mixing with the wind's howl and a cat's screeching meow outside. Mrs. Mai was frightened but kept her eyes shut, forcing herself to endure. A shadow darted past the window. Then a whisper descended from the roof. "We are still here, it's cold." Quote. Mrs. Mai opened her eyes wide, lips quivering. Who said that?" The murmurs spread through the hut as if dozens of throats spoke at once. "It's cold, give us blood." Lao Hak laughed savagely, raised the bowl of blood and poured it onto the floor. The earth beneath churned. Small red hands rose briefly and sank back down. In that moment, Mrs. Mai understood she had sold her soul in exchange for hatred. But it was already too late. That night's performance, Min's theater was blazing with light. People jostled to buy tickets. Laughter and chatter filled the air. Min stood behind the wings, his heart swelling with pride. This time will definitely be a huge success. Lan smiled and gently patted her husband's shoulder. "The audience loves us, as long as we try. Heaven won't fail us." But just as the overture began, the stage lights suddenly flickered. A dry click sounded and the entire stage plunged into darkness. The audience murmured and someone yelled, "Oh my God, the lights broke already?" Min panicked and signaled the tech crew. A few seconds later the lights came back on, but a black smudge, like a handprint, had appeared on the bright red velvet curtain. Before the audience could fully react, the curtain was drawn and the play began. The singing rose, but the sound was no longer as clear as usual. Intertwined with it was a terrifying screech, like someone crying uncontrollably. A child in the audience suddenly burst into tears. The mother holding him rocked him and shook her head. "Why are you so cold? You're sweating all over." The row of seats behind them trembled slightly, as if someone had walked by though no figure was visible. Whispers spread through the crowd, low voices buzzing. "What's with this theater tonight? I'm getting goosebumps, my spine's freezing." In the dressing room, Lan trembled in front of the makeup mirror. Her face drained of color when she saw there wasn't just her reflection. Over her shoulder, a figure in red flickered, long hair hiding its face. She spun around in alarm. The room was empty. Everything was silent except the creak of the ceiling fan. Lan whispered, Who is here?" A whisper sounded directly behind her. Lan, she screamed, collapsing back into a chair. Sweat slicked her face, her heart pounding wildly. Outside the auditorium, little Nam, Min and Lan's son, ran along the hallway. He suddenly stopped and stared down the stairwell leading to the basement. Dim light bled up, and below, a few people in red clothes squatted, waving and beckoning. "Come here, come play with us, it's cool down here." Nam, naive, stepped down one stair. His eyes went blank, and he murmured, "Down here, it's really cool." At that moment Min ran past and snatched his son back. The boy kicked and strained, his face vacant, eyes unfocused. "I want to go down. I want to follow the aunts and uncles." A chill ran up Min's spine as he scooped the boy up, running while mumbling prayers under his breath. From the stairwell came a ringing, cold laugh. By the end of that performance, more than half the audience had left. Some said they couldn't bear the bone-deep cold. Others swore the tickets in their hands had torn in two on their own. Some insisted that when they sat down the seat beneath them had shuddered as if someone else were already there. After the show, the theater was silent. Min sat stunned in the front row, crumpling the revenue report in his hands. Lan came to his side, her eyes still red. "My love, this might not be a normal thing. I saw a figure in the mirror." Min frowned and tried to sound firm. "Don't scare yourself. You're probably just tired and imagining things." Lan bit her lip, voice trembling. "No, it was real. Someone stood behind me, and it called my name." The air thickened and chilled, as if a mist had settled around the theater. The iron door let out a sudden clank, though no one touched it. In the darkness of the vast auditorium, soft footsteps approached, steady, measured, drawing nearer. The whisper came again. "It's cold in here, give us some of your breath." Lan trembled and gripped her husband's hand. Min drew a long breath, but a fear rose inside him that even he would not admit. That night, Lan stayed up late to tidy the dressing room. Everything was a mess, makeup scattered across the table. She tried to fold the costumes, but unease kept gnawing at her. Wind whistled through the cracks of the door. The desk lamp flickered. In the mirror she caught sight of a figure standing at the far end of the room. A familiar face, a familiar smile. "Min." Lan exhaled in relief and set down the costumes. But as she stepped closer, the Min in the mirror remained motionless, eyes hollow, his grin stretching wide to his ears. She froze, her whole body chilled. Just then, the manager's office door opened down the hall. "Lan, you still up?" She spun around. The real Min stepped in from the corridor, keys in hand, eyes heavy with sleep. Turning back, the figure in the mirror had vanished. Only the pungent smell of blood lingered. Lan trembled, lips parched. "Min, just now, you were standing here. But it wasn't you." Min stopped, scanning the room. "There's no one here but you and me. You're tired. Go rest." Lan shook her head, voice catching. "No, I saw it clearly. It looked exactly like you. But its eyes were empty. It smiled, and I smelled blood." Out in the auditorium, the dark rows of seats suddenly shuddered. Cushion covers creaked as if an invisible body had taken a seat. Laughter mingled with cries echoed through the theater. A disjointed whisper drifted. "We died here. The fire, it burned so hot. Now, it's so cold." Min gripped his wife's hand. Heart racing, the couple backed toward the door. But the theater doors slammed shut. The auditorium plunged into thick darkness. Nam upstairs screamed out at the top of his lungs. "Mom, the people in red pulled me toward the basement again." The child's cry ripped through the night, and Lan screamed in despair. "Give me my child, don't touch my son." In the dark, laughter burst and spread, a high, ringing sound along the four walls. The acrid scent of burning filled the air, dragging them back to old tales, the terrible blaze at the old theater years before, when so many souls had been consumed by red flames. Lan sank down, sobbing uncontrollably. "Min, I'm so scared. Something wants to take everything from us." Min ground his teeth and held her tight. But beneath his resolve a bone-deep chill had crept in, the sense that they faced something not human. Through the night, robed figures in red slid silently along the rows, eyes hollow, faces singed, lips endlessly whispering. "It's so cold here, we want warmth." Those words lingered like a keening wind, haunting the whole theater and warning of the dark days about to descend on Min and Lan's family. After that horrifying night, Min woke with dark circles under his eyes. His whole body felt heavy, as if something had pinned him down. His arms and legs weak. On his wrists appeared bruises, shaped like fingers that had gripped him tight while he slept. Lan sat at the edge of the bed, quietly combing her hair. Suddenly, handfuls of it came loose. Falling onto the mat, she froze, her hands trembling. "Why is this happening? My hair!" Min rushed over in alarm, staring at the clumps scattered across the floor. "This can't be." Crying suddenly echoed somewhere in the house. It was unclear whether it came from the basement or the upper floor. Sounds seemed to reverberate from everywhere. Little Nam sat curled under his blanket, eyes wide open. "Dad, Mom, every night I see them standing at the foot of my bed. They keep calling me to go down to the basement." Lan clutched her son tightly, her whole body shaking. "Don't listen to them, my child, don't follow." Outside in the theater, the auditorium lay deserted, even with posters announcing shows. No audience dared to come. Rumors spread. Min's theater was haunted. Sit in the seats and you'd feel frozen like ice. Tickets in hand would tear on their own. Some even reported burn scars appearing on their skin for no reason. One afternoon, Lan tried to straighten the seats. As she bent down, she saw beneath one chair a red, sinewy hand reaching out to grab her ankle. She screamed and fell backward to the floor. The hand vanished, leaving only a smear of blood across her foot. Lan burst into tears. "Min, it's following us for real." Min pulled her up, his face pale as ash. But before he could speak, the rows of seats began to shake violently. The whole auditorium resounded with stomping footsteps. Yet no one could be seen. A chorus of wails erupted from the stage. The red velvet curtain ripped open, exposing a scorched wall stained black with smoke. Min froze, remembering the old rumors, the theater that had burned years ago. Dozens dead, bodies charred beyond recognition, and now, they had returned, bringing smoke and cries of vengeance. Lan clung to her husband, trembling. "My love, I can't take this anymore. They want to kill us." In the darkness, whispers rose again, ragged, weaving with the wind. "Human breath. Give us human breath, it's so cold, so cold." Lan sat in the dressing room, holding a comb but too weary to brush her hair. Her hair was falling out more each day, dark circles shadowed her eyes. Her face gaunt, the desk lamp cast a weak yellow glow onto the mirror. In the glass, Lan's pale face stared back, but behind her shoulder a figure flickered. This time it wasn't just a red silhouette passing by. This time it was a face identical to Lan's, but with gray, corpse-like skin, sunken eyes, and blood seeping from the corners of its mouth. Lan froze, sweat beading across her forehead. Who's in there? The figure in the mirror moved its lips. I am you? You will die in this theater? Lan screamed and yanked the mirror off the table, smashing it to the floor. The shards scattered, but every fragment still reflected the same ghostly image, the other Lan's face. Grinning wickedly. She trembled, clutching her head. God, stop haunting me, I don't want this. Out in the hallway, little Nam suddenly screamed. Min rushed over to find his son standing at the top of the stairs to the basement. Arms stretched out as if guided by something unseen. Dad, they're calling me, I have to go with them. Min panicked and grabbed his son, but the boy struggled, eyes rolled back, his mouth repeating the same phrase. It's cool down here, so cool. Suddenly an invisible force yanked hard, nearly dragging both father and son down the stairs. Min strained with all his strength to pull the boy back, sweat pouring cold down his spine. In the basement shadows, red-clad figures flickered, faces burned and eyes glowing like embers. A whisper floated up. Give him to us, he belongs to us. Lan ran over, snatching her son into her arms, sobbing. Please, don't take my child, don't take him. But the more she cried, the louder the laughter grew in the darkness, as though dozens of throats were calling at once. The basement door flew open on its own, a cold wind rushing up, carrying the stench of smoke and ash. On the stairs, bloody red footprints appeared one by one, soaking into the floor. Min trembled, backing away. They really want to take our child. Lan clutched her son, screaming in despair. Somebody help, please save my family. The sound of her cries merged with the wind, covering the entire theater and making everything shudder. That night, Min slept soundly in the manager's office. Out in the auditorium, Lan still didn't dare close her eyes. She sat hunched in the front row, clutching her son tightly. The air was thick, so silent she could hear her own heartbeat. Suddenly, footsteps echoed at the back of the hall. Slow, steady, as if someone were moving closer to the stage. Lan jerked her head up. A familiar figure stepped out from behind the velvet curtain. It was Min. He wore his everyday clothes, his face expressionless. Lan trembled. Min, when did you wake up? The man didn't answer. He just stood at the corner of the theater, staring blankly. Then, slowly, the corner of his mouth curled into a grotesque smile. Lan saw blood seeping from the corner of his lips, dripping onto the floor. The metallic stench filled the air. She held her son tighter and shouted, "Stay away from me." The figure spoke, its voice hoarse, broken. "It's hot here, then so cold, now it's your turn." Lan shook all over, her vision blurring. She turned and ran toward the manager's office. When she opened the door, the real Min was inside, asleep and snoring, completely unaware. Lan's knees nearly gave way. Her whole body trembled, tears streaming down her face. My God, then what I just saw, who was that? At that moment, little Nam wriggled free from his mother's arms and dashed toward the stage. The boy seemed pulled by invisible hands, murmuring, "I had to go with them, they said I belong in the basement." Lan screamed and lunged after him, but the path to the stage stretched longer and longer, plunging into endless darkness. Laughter echoed from every direction, blending with the pounding footsteps. Lan collapsed, reaching out her hands. "Don't take my child, please." In that instant, the stage lights flashed, blindingly bright. The red-clad figures vanished. Nam collapsed on the wooden platform, eyes vacant. Min jolted awake, ran out, scooped his son up, calling non-stop. "Nam, wake up, you can't leave your mom and dad." The boy blinked, gasping for air, but his eyes remained hollow, his lips whispering, "It's cold down there, but I must go, they said I belong to them." The air inside the theater was heavy as lead, still carrying the stench of burnt smoke and blood. The couple held their child, looking around the pitch-black hall, knowing this was only the beginning of the terrible curse. These past few days, Min's theater had become completely deserted. The few customers who came to buy tickets left before half the show was over. Their faces drained of all color. Rumors spread through the town. The theater was haunted. People whispered that during every performance, burnt figures with loose hair could be seen wandering across the stage. Lan had grown frail, her eyes sunken. She hardly slept, only clutched her son tightly, jumping at every sound. Min's beard grew unkempt, his face gaunt. The air in the family was as heavy as smoke. Every word between them weighed down. One afternoon, Mrs. Knock came to visit. The moment she stepped inside the theater, she shivered. The air was icy, the stench of smoke and a sour, metallic tang clung everywhere. She sighed softly and muttered, "This place, the yin energy is far too heavy." Lan rushed out, her voice trembling. "Mother, these days I'm terrified. I keep seeing strangers in the mirror. And little Nam, he says people in red clothes keep asking him to go down to the basement." Mrs. Knox stroked her daughter-in-law's head, her eyes thoughtful. "I'm old now, but I've seen many things. Back when the old theater burned, so many souls died unjustly. They never received proper offerings. It seems they've really come back now." Hearing this, Min shouted, his voice breaking, "Don't try to scare me. Mother, I don't believe in that nonsense. This is just coincidence. People are spreading lies to ruin my theater." Lan burst into tears. "But I saw it with my own eyes. I heard them call my name, even call our child. If it's not ghosts, then what is it?" The heavy silence was broken only by Nam's restless murmurs in his sleep. His small voice whispering, "Down there, it's so cold, they're waiting for me." All three adults felt a chill crawl down their spines. Mrs. Knock nodded firmly, her voice resolute. "Enough. If you still trust me, tomorrow I'll take Lan up the mountain. There's Master Tin there. He's practiced for decades, and has sealed away many evil forces. If there truly is dark energy here, only he can banish it." Lan gripped her mother-in-law's hand, tears streaming with relief. "Yes, I'll do as you say. I only pray for peace in our family." Min remained silent, his face hardened, torn between fear and shame. He glanced at his wife, his son, then lowered his head. Outside, the wind from the mountain roared, wailing through the theater's roof like voices mourning. The velvet curtain on stage swayed gently, as if a shadow had just passed by. Lan clutched her son tightly. Mrs. Knox squeezed her hand, her heart filled with determination. At dusk, the three of them climbed the mountain together. The path was jagged, lined with sharp limestone rocks, trees dense on both sides, the wind cutting cold as knives. Their flashlights swept over the narrow trail, but every few steps the sound of rustling leaves came from behind. Lan clutched her mother-in-law's arm, her voice trembling. "Mother, I hear someone following us." Mrs. Knock replied softly, her eyes fixed ahead. "Don't look back, just keep walking. Whoever is behind us isn't human." Lan held her breath, forcing herself not to turn, yet whispers still brushed her ears. "It's cold here, turn back, come down with us." Min walked last, his face pale. He gripped a wooden staff tightly, muttering under his breath, "There can't be ghosts, there can't be ghosts." The climb grew steeper, sweat soaked through their backs, but the wind sliced colder, biting to the bone. Suddenly, little Nam, carried on Lan's back, cried out, "Mom, let me go, I see them waving at me." Lan hugged him tighter, her voice breaking. "No, you mustn't, don't look anymore." Nam's cries echoed through the forest, warped and stretched as though someone were mocking him. "Mom, let me go?" All three shuddered. Mrs. Knock quickly pulled a worn prayer bead chain from her pocket and raised it to her lips. Chanting, the low, steady sound filled the woods, easing the oppressive air just a little. At last, after nearly half an hour, the glow of an oil lamp flickered ahead. The sound of a temple bell rang clear, slicing through the sinister whispers. Lan staggered, collapsing onto the stone steps. "Please, please save my family." The temple door opened, and a thin, gentle-looking monk stepped out. It was Master Tin. His gaze swept over the three, then stopped at little Nam. The boy was trembling, eyes bloodshot, lips bluish. The master nodded slightly, his voice firm. As I thought, a blood-souled talisman has been cast. Your family will not escape unless it's undone at once. Min's voice quavered as he tried to sound strong, but fear edged his words. Master, blood-souled talisman, what is that? Master Tin folded his hands, eyes distant. It is one of the darkest forms of sorcery. It summons the spirits of the wronged, feeding on the blood of the living. Those ensnared waste away, their minds unravel, and in the end their bodies perish too. Lan burst into tears, clutching her son tightly. Master, please save us. I can't endure this anymore. Master Tin stepped forward, placing a cold but steady hand on her shoulder. I will help, but remember, this path is dangerous. Whoever cast this curse will not easily let go. A gust of wind swept through, the faint scent of incense drifting in the air. The family exchanged looks, half relieved, half fearful, knowing they had just stepped into a fight for their lives. Night fell, the temple courtyard silent except for the steady hum of insects. Inside the main hall, Master Tin set out a bowl of clear water, lit incense, spread yellow paper, and placed a small gleaming knife beside it. Lan trembled at the sight, clutching Nam tightly. The boy whimpered, his eyes bloodshot, as if his soul were being dragged away. Min leaned against a pillar, hands clasped together, trying to mask the shaking in his body. Master Tin sat cross-legged, fingers rolling prayer beads, his deep voice rising. Namo Amitabha, if there are wandering spirits here, show yourselves, let me see your faces. The candles flickered wildly, a cold wind swept through, the temple doors groaning on their hinges. The bowl of water rippled, bubbles surfacing and breaking. Lan shrank back, eyes fixed on the bowl. Within the water, a charred face slowly appeared, its eyes rolled white, lips cracked and bleeding. It whispered. So cold, the death was so painful, repay the debt. Lan screamed. In her arms, Nam thrashed, but his voice was no longer a child's, it warped and distorted. Let me go, I must return below. Min lunged to restrain his son, but the boy's strength was unnatural. Thrashing like a grown man, Min's face drained, sweat pouring down his back. Master Tin remained steady. He pricked his fingertip with the knife, letting a drop of blood fall into the bowl. At once the water boiled furiously, white smoke billowing upward. The grotesque face shrieked, the sound like someone burning alive. Then, within the smoke, the figure of a gaunt old man emerged, sunken eyes, yellowed teeth, clutching a bundle of half-burnt incense. He cackled. Ha ha, Tin, so you came too? I have many more dead souls to command. Can you handle them all? Lan's blood turned to ice. My God, Lao Hak, he's real. Mrs. Nok pressed her hands together and knelt before the Buddha statue, her voice shaking. Please, Buddha, protect us. Master Tin opened his eyes, gaze sharp as steel. Hak, I know you. For years you've preyed on others with blood sorcery. Tonight you face me. You won't escape so easily. Lao Hak sneered as a cold gust swept through, scattering ash and incense. Behind him, red-robed figures emerged, limbs charred, eyes glowing crimson. Their voices droned in unison, each word drawn out. Come down with us. The temple trembled, candles burning low, nearly extinguished. Lan cried out, clutching Nam, tears streaming. Master, save us. I can't take this anymore. Master Tin's breath surged, his chanting rapid, pounding like war drums. He scooped the boiling red water and flung it toward the red-clad phantoms. With a searing hiss, the figures screamed, writhing, then dissolved into smoke. But Lao Hak's shadow still stood, laughing savagely. This is only the beginning. Tin, let's see who survives to the end. Cold smoke thickened across the hall. Candles snuffed out. Darkness swallowed everything whole. The entire main hall plunged into darkness. broken only by the howl of wind and Master Tin's rapid chanting. Through the smoke, Lao Hak's red eyes glowed, staring coldly. He chuckled in a rasp that seemed to echo from the bottom of a well. "You think a few drops of your little blood can stop me?" Lan clutched Nam to her chest and pressed against Mrs. Nock. The boy trembled, eyes vacant, murmuring, "Down, I must go down, they're waiting for me in the basement." Min panicked, gripping his wooden staff, and shouted, "Let go of my son, you demon." Lao Hak laughed loudly and waved his hand. Immediately the temple floor cracked, and charred hands clawed up, grabbing Min's legs. He struggled, screaming, "Get off me, get off." Lan rushed forward to pull him free, but Mrs. Nock held her back, voice choked. "Don't, the more you struggle, the deeper you sink." Master Tin struck the bell hard, its peal rang through the hall. He swept his carved staff in a circle, tracing protective mantras. The ghostly hands recoiled and turned to dust. Min collapsed to the floor, gasping for breath. Master Tin bellowed, his voice booming like thunder. "You restless spirits, you are bound and used by another. Do not listen to him. Listen to the Buddha and be released." Amid the smoke, a few red-robed figures trembled, their faces distorted, their eyes flickering, but Lao Hak roared and flung a handful of black ash at them. "Shut up, all of you belong to me." At once the red-robed apparitions screamed and lunged toward Master Tin. The air thickened with the smell of burning. Agonized wails echoed across the hall. Lan broke down, burying her face in Mrs. Nock's shoulder. "I'm so scared, Mother." Mrs. Nock held her daughter-in-law, though her eyes never left the ritual, her lips murmuring prayers. Master Tin stood firm. He added a few more drops of blood to the bowl. The water boiled violently, white smoke billowing. He hurled it toward the gathered lost souls. With a sizzling crack, some spirits vanished, others screamed and dissolved into smoke. Lao Hak's eyes bulged, his face contorted with rage. "You dare use your own blood to break my spell? Tin, watch out. I will make your very blood pay." A cold gust swept through, snuffing out every candle in the hall. The temple fell into pitch black, only that savage, mocking laughter echoed from every side. The darkness was thick, broken only by the wind's howl and the scraping footsteps across the tile floor. Min groped frantically in the night. "Lan, Nam, where are you two?" A cold hand suddenly seized his wrist. Min breathed with relief. "Lan, is that you?" But when the incense flame flared, the face that appeared froze him in place. Not his wife's face, but a charred, flayed visage with white, sightless eyes. It grinned and whispered, "It's so pleasant down there, come down." Min screamed, stumbling backward and falling to the floor. Lan sat in a corner of the hall holding Nam, thinking they were safe, but the boy trembled, eyes bloodshot, and let out strange laughter. "Mom, they called me, let me go." Lan hugged him tighter, choking on her sobs. "No, you're my flesh and blood, no one takes you." Suddenly Lan convulsed, her body twisting, her eyes rolled back and her voice warped. "I will go with them, this blood repays their debt?" Mrs. Nock panicked, clutching her daughter-in-law, shaking and crying. "Lan, wake up, please, don't let them take you." But Lan thrashed like an animal, scratching and screaming hoarsely. Her hair fell loose, eyes blazing red, each syllable torn out. "Blood, repay, debt?" Min crawled up behind her and held her, tears streaming. "Lan, wake up, don't leave me, don't leave our child." Nam gasped, lips blue, occasionally whispering, "Down there, it's so cold. I have to go." The air in the temple reeked of burnt smoke and iron tang of blood. Candles guttered out, black shadows coiling like snakes. Master Tin shouted, his hands trembling but his gaze steady. "Hack, you fiend, daring to feed on the living." He drew his knife and cut deep into his wrist, blood spurted bright red. He let drops fall onto the incense brazier. Immediately white smoke poured forth. sweeping through the main hall and driving back the darkness. His chanting rose in a crashing rhythm, overpowering Lao Hak's laughter. Lan shrieked and thrashed, then collapsed, fainting. Little Nam breathed raggedly, his eyes closing, but his breathing eased. Min held his wife, then turned to clutch his son, sobbing like a child. "My child, Lan, please don't leave your father." In the white smoke, Lao Hak recoiled, his face twisted with fury. "All right, Tin, your blood is strong. But let's see how long you can endure. I will make this whole family waste away before your eyes." The dreadful laughter faded into the dark. The main hall fell silent, the metallic tang of blood mixing with incense smoke, making everyone shudder. Inside the main hall, white smoke from the incense still clung to every wooden pillar. The chanting rose like hundreds of voices speaking at once. Min held his wife and child tight, his whole body trembling. Master Tin sat cross-legged, his hands stained with blood. He shook, but his eyes shone with fierce light. "It's all right," temporarily calm, but not for long. Min broke down crying. "Master, why did this happen to my wife and child? Who brought this curse upon my family?" Master Tin was silent for a moment, then sighed. "This is not the work of random restless spirits. It's a blood-soul charm, a rare, venomous spell. It requires someone to willfully cast it and a sorcerer cruel enough to call the vengeful dead back." He fixed his gaze on the wavering flame. "The one who cast this is Lao Hak, but he would not act alone. Someone hired him." Mrs. Knock covered her face. "My God, who could be so heartless?" Master Tin slowly looked at Min, his voice lowering. "The rival theater across the way, Mrs. Mai." The air turned leaden. Min froze, his lips trembling. "Mrs. Mai, she, out of jealousy, would harm my whole family?" The wind moaned over the temple roof like a mocking laugh. Lan woke, sweat soaking her. She coughed dryly, her eyes dim, her voice weak. I saw her face. She stood in the dark and called to me, told me to repay the blood debt. Min clutched his wife, his chest twisting with guilt. "Oh God, Lan, I'm sorry, it's my opening the theater that provoked their envy." Master Tin's tone hardened. "This is not your fault. Jealousy is a fire that consumes its owner. But for now, Mrs. Mai doesn't know I have seen through it. The immediate priority is to keep your family alive." He drew from his cloth pouch a small red talisman, black sigils scrawled across it. "I will seal them temporarily. This talisman will keep the restless spirits at bay for 7 days. After that I must perform the soul-releasing rite at the exact place they died. If not, they will return 10 times fiercer." Nam, lying in his mother's arms, murmured, "Down in the basement, they're still there, so many." A chill ran down everyone's spines. Master Tin nodded. "Yes, to end this, I must go back to the old burned theater, the place that was consumed by fire, where the trapped souls remain." No sooner had he spoken than a strong gust slammed the temple door with a bang. Lao Hak's hoarse laugh drifted in. 7 days, huh, Tin? I'll make you taste hell every single day and night." The altar flame flared and then sputtered out, leaving the stench of burnt smoke. No one dared breathe deeply. The cold crept in, but in Master Tin's eyes a determined fire ignited. Night fell. A north wind howled across the rooftops. On the dirt road leading to the abandoned theater, the moonlight starkly revealed walls blackened by fire and singed wooden pillars like exposed bones. Min gripped Lan's hand. "Can you bear this? If you're tired, go home. I and the master will go on." Lan shook her head, her voice hoarse and tremulous. "No, I must come. If we don't end this, they'll keep pulling Nam down." Mrs. Knock hugged the boy close, mumbling prayers as they walked. Nam's face was pale, his eyes fixed on the ruined stage. "Mother, they're standing there waiting, so many." The group froze. Lan hugged her child, shivering. "Who's waiting for you?" The boy trembled. "The aunts and uncles in red, their hair burned, eyes white, they're waving at me." The air felt as if something heavy pressed on everyone's chests. Master Tin planted his staff and stepped before the rusty gate where the sign, Wrapped Tin Vin, had been charred away. Only a warped few letters left. He set his staff into the ground, his voice dropping solemn. This place is their temporary prison. The fire years ago burned dozens to death, the hatred is thick. Lao Hak merely exploits that to pull them back and bind them with blood. Min peered in and saw only pitch darkness. The wind moaned like a living thing. The wooden door, half closed, creaked open of its own accord. Lan clung to her husband, whispering, "Min, it feels like someone's inviting us in." Suddenly Nam broke into sobs. "They say, tonight they'll burn it again, to trap us all inside." No sooner had he spoken than a fierce gust sent ash and dust swirling. The theater shuddered with a deep thud, like a hammer striking the ground. Mrs. Nock hurriedly pressed Nam to her chest, her face ashen. "Master, could it collapse?" Master Tin raised the gold talisman and set it alight. "Not yet. This is only a warning. They are testing us. If we step inside, there may be no turning back." Min swallowed hard, inhaled, then squeezed his wife's hand. "Whatever happens, I have to go in. If we run, they'll haunt us for life." Lan hugged Nam tightly and nodded faintly. "Then we go together. Even if we die, we won't let them tear our family apart." The theater doors yawned open. Darkness pooled like fog, exhaling the acrid smell of burning flesh. Whispers threaded through the wind, disjointed and haunting. "It's so cold here. Repay the blood, for us." Master Tin drew a long breath and stepped over the threshold, his voice steely. "Let's go. Tonight, either we free them, or we are buried forever with their hatred." The little procession passed wholly inside, the doors slammed, thud, behind them. Darkness swallowed them whole. Inside the theater, the air was suffocating, smoke thick like unextinguished ash. Rows of seats stood burned and blackened in long lines, charred wooden stanchions rose like exposed human skeletons. Lan clutched Nam tightly, her heart pounding. "My God, this place, it's as if it burned only yesterday." Nam opened his eyes wide, lips trembling. They're all sitting there, on the seats. Min looked around but saw only broken chairs and dust. He trembled. "What do you see, Nam?" The boy shivered. "They're sitting, wearing red, skin torn, eyes all white, staring at me." No sooner had Nam spoken than a snapping sound rang out. A chair at the far end of a row split in two, sending ash and dust into the air. One by one other chairs shuddered, as if someone sat down, then rose again. Lan panicked and hugged her son. "Oh God, Min, I hear footsteps." Heavy footsteps echoed, mixed with the rustle of sandals. They drew nearer and nearer. In the flicker of the candle Master Tin held, several shadowed figures emerged. Their hair was singed and tangled, skin cracked and flayed, red garments scorched black. They filled the auditorium, sitting motionless and staring straight at the procession. Mrs. Knock's voice broke, her hand trembling. "My lord, are there so many?" One figure rose and stepped into the aisle. Its face was scorched, flesh falling away in patches, eyes sightless and white. Its voice rasped like wind. "Repay, blood, for us?" Lan screamed and pressed against her husband. Min stood in front of them, but his legs were shaking. Master Tin sat calmly, placing the bowl of consecrated water in the aisle and began to chant. "Namo Amitabha, wandering souls, hear me and return to the realm of light." The gathered spirits all tilted their heads, baring teeth in a grin. Their laughter pierced the air, flickering through the space. The candle in Master Tin's hand guttered out, and the auditorium sank into blackness once more. In the dark, whispering voices circled, persistent and chilling. "It's so cold here. Come down, join us. Blood, blood must be repaid." Suddenly Nam screamed, his eyes blazing red. "Father, they're pulling me, they've grabbed my feet." Lan held him tight, but she felt the cold, dead hands tugging him from her arms. Min flailed into the empty air, striking at nothing, only feeling a bitter, icy wind. Master Tin shouted, slicing his hand with the knife and dropping blood into the bowl. Immediately a white light flared, revealing the scene. Dozens of red-robed souls surrounding them, sinewy hands reaching out, eyes blank and white. The whole theater shook violently, as if it were about to erupt into flames once more. The light from the bowl of consecrated blood flared, illuminating the decayed auditorium. Dozens of scorched faces with blank white eyes crowded forward, teeth bared in a grimace, their hissing echoing across the space. Lan clutched Nam, crying and trembling. They're getting too close. Min. Nam thrashed, screaming in terror. Let me go, they're pulling me, they want me to die with them. Min roared and lunged to grab his son back from the invisible hands gripping him. His arms cut through empty air, but the icy cold numbed his skin to the bone. Suddenly the entire theater shook violently. The charred walls cracked, ash swirling in clouds. From the ceiling, flames burst downward, red as a sea of blood. Lan screamed, "Oh God, fire, it's burning again." The flames licked across the rows of seats, blazing as if the old inferno was happening all over again. Screams and sobs of the dead echoed, overlapping through the hall. One vengeful spirit lunged right up to Min's face. Its flesh hung in tatters, skin charred black, mouth gaping wide as it spewed the stench of burnt meat. "You must die with us?" Min shouted back, fear and fury mixing. "I didn't harm you. Why are you taking me and my family?" The spirit hissed, its voice fractured. "It doesn't matter. Who caused it? Who lives must repay." Then black smoke coiled at the center of the hall, forming the shape of a gaunt old man with loose hair and eyes black as pits. Lao Hak appeared, laughing harshly. "Ha ha ha, they only need blood, I need souls. Your family, 3 generations, a perfect feast." Mrs. Knox shook with terror, clutching Nam, screaming hoarsely, "Monster, you're hurting my grandson." Lao Hak extended his hand, tendrils of black smoke snaked around her, squeezing the breath from her lungs. Old woman still shouting, "I'll send you down with the others." Master Tin shouted, slicing his hand deeper, his blood dripping into the bowl. He swept his arm, and the bowl erupted with white light spilling across the floor. Spirits touched by the light shrieked and dissolved, fading piece by piece. But Lao Hak only laughed, his body unmoved. "You have plenty of blood, Tin, but do you have enough to fight all of them?" At once the flames rose higher, engulfing the entire stage. The auditorium transformed into a blazing red hell. The cries of the dead merged with Lao Hak's hoarse laughter, freezing Min's family in place. Lan sobbed, clutching her husband and child. "Min, this is the end, our whole family will die here." Master Tin gripped his wooden staff, blood streaming down his robe, but his eyes blazed. "Not yet, not tonight. Tonight someone goes to hell for real." The auditorium burned bright, the flames lighting every scorched face and hanging, torn flesh. The restless spirits formed a circle and screamed with ear-piercing howls. Min spread his arms to shield his wife and child, his eyes rimmed red. "Master, I'm afraid I can't hold on much longer." Lan held Nam, tears streaming. "My child is so cold, he's trembling so badly." The boy was delirious, periodically letting out strange cries as if another voice spoke through him. Come down with us." Master Tin stood in the center, leaning on his staff, his hands soaked with blood. His voice rang out strong. "Hak, you use grievance to feed yourself. You sow blood to nourish your power. You have crossed the boundary of yin and yang." Lao Hak laughed a wet, savage laugh, his face twisted. "Boundaries? What boundary can hold me? They burned horrible, screaming for decades. I only gave them a way out. Take more living blood to repay the debt." A jet of black smoke shot from his hand, forming into a snake-like shape that coiled around a wooden pillar and lunged straight for Master Tin. Master Tin pulled a gold talisman from his sleeve and flung it upward. The talisman ignited, turning into a white beam that slashed across. The smoke snake dissolved, but the light began to weaken. The whole theater rang with Lao Hak's hoarse laughter. Ha ha ha, your blood is nearly spent. Tin, let's see how long you can hold. At that moment, the vengeful spirits lunged at Min's family. Chairs split with thunderous cracks. Ash billowing, charred hands reached out and grabbed for Lan and Nam. Lan screamed, clutching her son tight. No, please don't take my child. Min flailed wildly, slapping at empty air, feeling only an icy chill. He shouted hoarsely, "Let go, my child is innocent, let him go." Master Tin stamped his staff hard into the floor, chanting rapidly. The ground cracked. A flare of light burst from the fissure, pushing back a swath of spirits. At the same time, blood poured from his wounds like rain, staining the tiles red. He ground his teeth, voice turning grave. Min, Lan, hold Nam with all your strength. No matter what you see or hear, do not let go. If you let go, they will drag him away at once. The auditorium pitched as if off kilter. The screams, the roar of flame, and the laughter blended into a single infernal chorus. Amid the sea of fire stood two figures, one ancient, blood pouring down but eyes burning like torches, the other gaunt. Clad in black, grinning savagely, they faced each other within the ring of wailing spirits. The real battle had begun. Lao Hak tore open his shirt, dark blood pouring down and dripping onto the floor. Each drop of blood became a flaming figure, hair singed, mouths wide open. Dozens of fire spirits howled and charged straight at Master Tin. "You lot, attack, tear him apart for me." The whole auditorium shook, chairs splintered. The ceiling cracked. The thundering footsteps of the damned came like a pack of hunting beasts. Master Tin closed his eyes, lips mouthing sutras, and with his trembling hand dipped into the bowl of consecrated water now stained red. He flung it forward. The water splashed and each droplet turned into a white flame, burning fiercely. The fiery spirits that rushed in were stopped, shrieking in pain as they turned to ash. But blood flowed from Master Tin's hand faster now, streaming down the floor. He grimaced, yet his voice remained resolute. "I vow to use my own blood, to save sentient beings from this doom." Lan clutched her son, eyes wet, crying and screaming, "Master, please don't give your life for my family." Nam suddenly opened his eyes, pupils black and empty, lifeless. He spoke in that hollow voice that chilled the bone. "Mother, I'm cold. Let me go with them, it's warm." Lan trembled and held him tighter. "No, I won't let you go. Don't say that, Nam." The boy's voice merged with the wails of the lost. "Step down, follow, hurry." Min roared, his voice raw. "Get out of here, my child isn't going anywhere. I'll die before I let them take him." He hugged his wife and son, eyes blazing red, his body shaking as if it might break. Ahead, Lao Hak snarled and pulled a black talisman from his pocket, hurling it to the floor. The auditorium split open. Clawed hands burst up from beneath, dragging chairs and tearing down the walls. A gigantic, blazing hand shot up and snatched at Master Tin's bowl of consecrated water. He shouted, "No!" Master Tin struck the monstrous hand with his staff. Light flashed, the bowl rang, but most of the water spilled everywhere. Lao Hak laughed out loud, his voice hoarse and cruel. "Your blood will dry up. Tin, I am the one who keeps their souls." Pale, Master Tin sank to his knees, yet his eyes burned with determination. He bit his finger, blood spurted, mixing with the glowing incense. A blinding white smoke surged up, spiraling into a protective circle around Min's family. The vengeful spirits battered the barrier outside but could not break through. Master Tin's chanting rose, drowning out the cries. "Namo Amitabha, let the suffering be resolved. Let the wronged spirits be released." The white flames leapt higher, consuming the apparitions one by one. Ear-piercing screams echoed through the theater. But at that instant Lao Hak howled, bit his tongue and spat blood, then slammed his palm into the ground. The hall shook again. A deep, gaping crack tore open at center stage. From it rose a gigantic, scarlet face, eyes of flame, surging upward, mouth opening in a roar that split the sky. Lan clutched her child. Min looked up, stunned. My God, what is that? Master Tin stared into that red visage, his voice heavy. Hak, you have gone mad. You dare call the primal demon down here? The gaping crack widened, and from within rose a colossal, blazing red face, eyes burning like twin furnaces, mouth open in a howl that shook the rafters. Around it, the red-clad spirits swirled, clawing and screaming as they tried to drag their prey closer. Lan clutched Nam tighter, trembling violently. Min, they're going to take our son. Min gripped his wife's hand, his voice hoarse. No, Lan, no one touches our family. Master Tin stood at the center of the glowing circle, sweat streaming down his face. He bit his finger, blood dripping into the bowl of water, igniting it white hot. His chant cut through the air like a blade. O vengeful spirits, you have crossed the boundary. I will imprison you here. Lao Hak gave a guttural laugh, then roared. No, impossible. You cannot bind it without sacrificing yourself. Tin. Master Tin's hand trembled, but his eyes burned with resolve. He raised his wooden staff and traced sacred symbols onto the floor, his blood mingling with the glowing incense. Instantly, a surge of white light erupted, enveloping the primal demon. But the demon bellowed, spewing red fire from its mouth. It raised its massive hands and slammed the ground. The entire theater quaked. Ash clouded the air. Chairs splintered. Pillars cracked and fell with thunderous crashes. Lan screamed as a monstrous ghostly hand reached to seize Nam. Master Tin shouted, pressing the blade's carved sigil against his own forehead, blood seeping down to merge with the incense. I surrender a part of my life, to hold you back. A blinding white light burst from his body, wrapping itself around the demon, forcing it to retreat. Screams, wails, and shrieks blended into a single hellish chorus. Red flames surged, but the primal demon writhed within the glowing snare. Lao Hak's eyes bulged as he flung out his hand, but the demon was already sealed. The red mass twisting, hissing, then slowly sinking back into the crack below. Lan sobbed, holding her son. Master Tin, you've... Master Tin panted, his hands shaking, blood dripping from his forehead and palms. Yet his eyes still shone with fierce determination. They're bound, for now, 7 days, enough to keep your family safe. Min clutched his wife and child, tears welling in his eyes. Thank you, Master, thank you truly? Beyond the fissure, the ashes settled. The ruined theater fell silent again, though the air remained heavy and cold. Lao Hak vanished into the smoke with a guttural snarl. Lan held Nam close, still trembling. We're alive, but, I'm afraid, what if Lao Hak returns? Master Tin's voice turned firm. You must endure. Evil cannot break this blood seal, not if we guard it well. Night fell. The wind rattled through the corrugated roofs of Min's theater with an eerie creak. Lan held Nam close, looking around with a lingering chill crawling up her spine. Min, I'm scared. Min squeezed his wife's hand, his voice low. Don't worry, Lan, Master Tin has sealed Lao Hak for now, but we must stay cautious. Mrs. Nock swept the oil lamp light around the theater, trembling. It seems calm for the moment, but every direction you look you can see strange shadows. From the rival theater across the way, a figure appeared behind the window frame, silently watching. Moonlight revealed an aged, warped face and cold eyes. Heh, it's not over yet. Min followed the sight and recognized her immediately. Mrs. Mai, she's standing there, what else does she want? Lan tightened her hold on the child, her voice shaking. She's looking at us like she wants to kill. The town's atmosphere seemed to thicken. From the alleys came unsettling whispers. Red blurry shapes flickered, appearing and vanishing as they glided across roofs, gardens, and market stalls. Blood must be paid. The red shapes follow? Nam shivered, his lips moving. Mom, I'm cold, they're calling me downstairs. Lan hugged him tight. Tears slipped down her cheeks. No, you're not going anywhere. Mom's holding you. Master Tin stepped in, his tone grave. This is the final move. If we don't end this now, the whole town will be haunted for good. Mrs. Mai conspired with Hack, but now we will turn the tide. Min frowned. Master, you mean, we attack the theater across the street? Master Tin nodded, eyes sharp. Yes, she's using ghosts to gather resentful spirits across the town. If we don't break it now, everyone nearby will be pulled in. Lan drew a deep breath and hugged their son. So, what do we do? Master Tin raised his hand, the bowl of consecrated water shone bright. I will use the final formation, blood and incense combined, to seal away all the malice from Mrs. Mai and her theater. Your family must stay together, no one may leave. If anyone breaks the circle, the spirits will target them first. Min looked at his wife and child and nodded. Okay, we stay together, no one leaves. From the rival theater, Mrs. Mai suddenly appeared, her face ashen, eyes bulging with fury. You dare ruin my plan, huh? Blackness spewed from her theater, coiling around Min's yard, dropping the temperature and unleashing waves of putrid cold. Lan pressed Nam tighter and whispered, Mother, it's so cold. Master Tin set the bowl of consecrated water down on the courtyard, white light spread outward. The red-robed spirits from Mrs. Mai's theater were held back by the light. Hissing in pain, Min gripped the master's staff and ran toward the light. Hold on, stay firm, nobody let go. Mrs. Mai screamed, her hands trembling as she whispered in a broken voice. They will pay back the blood? Moonlight pierced through the dust, casting its glow over Min's theater yard. Across the street, Mrs. Mai stood pale-faced, her trembling hands stretched out. From her theater, dozens of red-robed spirits surged forward, shrieking as if to devour Min's entire family. Lan clutched Nam, trembling. Min, I'm so scared. Min gripped his wife's hand, his voice firm. It's okay, Lan, we've made it this far, this is the last. Master Tin set the consecrated bowl at the center of the yard and began chanting non-stop. Blood dripped from his hand into the bowl, and white light spread outward. Spirits lunged forward but were blocked by the radiant glow, screaming hoarsely. Mrs. Mai roared, her arms flailing as she struggled to control the ghosts. You cannot ruin my plan. A massive black cloud erupted from her theater, wrapping around Min's family. Red flames blazed across the yard, echoing with howls. Master Tin bit his finger, letting the blood fall into the bowl. The white light surged stronger. Family, hold hands, don't let go. Min, Lan, and Nam stood in a circle, hands clasped tight, focusing on the light. Sweat rolled down their faces, hearts pounding. Every spirit that struck the glow shrieked and crumbled into ash. The light gradually swept the entire yard, pushing the spirits back toward the rival theater. Mrs. Mai shrieked, her face twisted, trembling violently. No. Master Tin drew a deep breath, his voice echoing. You sowed evil, now you must bear its weight. Every ghost of yours shall be released. A brilliant white ring flared, engulfing the rival theater. The red-robed spirits screamed, swirling around Mrs. Mai, dragging her into the light. She shrieked, eyes rolling back, but there was no escape. Min embraced his wife and child, his eyes wet. Master, is it done? Master Tin nodded, pale but steady. It is finished. Mrs. Mai and her spirits are sealed within her theater. If anyone dares to open its doors, the curse will rebound upon them. Lan clutched Nam, weeping. We're alive. Min held them both, exhaling deeply. At last, it's over? Outside, the wind stilled, dust settled quietly. The town returned to peace. Moonlight shone upon rooftops, no red-robed phantoms, no bone-chilling gusts. Master Tin turned to Min's family, his tone softening. Guard this light well. Envy and malice will always exist, but kindness and compassion will banish resentful souls. Min bowed his head. We will remember, and we will preserve it. Lan sighed, holding her child. And we will build a small shrine, to honor those lost souls, to guide them to peace. Mrs. Knock nodded, wiping her tears. Yes, we must be grateful to those who suffered. Moonlight bathed Min's theater, illuminating the family. No more ghosts, no more wailing wind, only calm, and the steady breaths of survivors freed from darkness. Life slowly returned to normal. Min's theater filled with guests once more. Master Tin departed, leaving behind the lesson that envy and cruelty bring ruin, while virtue and compassion bring peace. Mrs. Mai remained sealed away, gone from the town, a reminder that malice will always meet retribution. The town was calm again, though the legend of the red-robed ghosts would live on in local lore. The story ends here. Thank you for listening until the very end. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe. It means a lot and helps us create more haunting tales for you. If you have questions or spot mistakes in the story, leave a comment below. Thank you for watching, and Bong Toi Trong Dem * will see you in the next tale. This video belongs to the horror fiction genre, crafted for entertainment to deliver a chilling experience. We do not promote superstition or encourage dangerous acts mentioned in the story. Any resemblance to real people, places, or events is purely coincidental. We sincerely thank you for supporting Bong Toi Trong Dem.